Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of BCS Community Connections, sponsored by M&M Apparel. Today on our podcast, we have Bo Jenkins. Bo is the owner here locally in the Bryan College Station area of ABC Home and Commercial Services. Got a great opportunity to be able to sit down with him and his wife here in studio and be able to talk to them about his business model, how they have had a staple business, not just here in the Bryan College Station area, but all over Texas for well over 50 years. And just got a great opportunity to be able to talk to him about how this year's gone for his business, new services that he's tacking onto his business, and really what his beliefs are about providing great customer service, along with providing those services to customers to where he not only has repeat customers, but he builds customers for life. So it was a real pleasure to talk to him. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast. And again, Bo Jenkins from ABC Home and Commercial Services. All right, Bo Jenkins. Hey, welcome. Appreciate you coming in and joining us for the podcast. It's great to have you today.
Happy to be here. Very excited.
That's awesome, man. So again, before we get started, Bo Jenkins, for those of y'all that don't know, runs our local ABC Home and Commercial Services business here, but it is a family business. So this is something that has been generations, right?
It is. We are in our third generation right now.
So started with your grandfather.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure if I get any of these wrong, make sure you tell me. I tried to do a little research before we got in here. So 1949.
49 was when ABC started. My grandfather purchased it in the 60s.
Okay.
But when he purchased ABC, it was just a one-man, one-operator pest control company in San Antonio. And, he took it from there, started knocking some doors, selling pest control in the San Antonio area, and then just continued to build the business. And then, my dad and his two brothers came into the business and each kind of given their own territories that my grandfather set them up to go grow and build. And now me and my cousins are in the business and kind of third generation, multiple locations across the state of Texas, and well over 1,000 employees, and yeah, it's just become a very, very long-term big business now.
So did you grow up here or did you grow up in San Antonio?
I grew up in Austin.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right in the middle. You're going to split it
The
there,
orange curtain is what I called it.
I was going to say, around here, we won't hold that against you or anything. No. So so your dad's Bobby, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think I remember as a kid, because I grew up in San Antonio. Okay. So I think I can remember your dad like being on TV and talking about it, and kind of a little jingle that went along with it. And a lot of the times we as a community, we were kind of talking about this yesterday, we as a community get used to businesses that are here. You guys have been doing this for, is this 71? So it's be 71 years from the start, and from your purchase is more like 55, 56 years. I mean,
we lose track of it. We just continually every year just keep going.
After this year, if you're still in business, it was a good year. That's kind of how it works for COVID. So what we wanted to bring in today and talk to everybody about on the podcast here is giving you the opportunity to kind of talk about the business. I know prior to us kind of start recording here, we were talking about just the changes just in general that you guys are now offering that I didn't even have a clue. I mean, we do business with you guys, and y'all have been a great customer of ours. And I'm sitting there looking at this stuff that's on your website now, and I'm like, man, if I didn't know this, who else didn't know this? So we definitely want to make sure everybody knows about all of that stuff. So you guys started pest and basically pest control is where it kind of started, and then kind of give me the evolution of the business from there.
Yeah, so we started out doing pest control, and that's kind of our backbone of doing on the residential side for, Mrs. Jones at her home, and then we also do it on the commercial side, which is, your restaurants, hotels, property management companies, different businesses. And then from there, what we added on was the lawn piece, and that's, your mowing, your landscaping, your fertilization and care, irrigation as well, and tree trimming and removal. And then, so we were ABC Pest and Lawn for a long time. That's how a lot of people know us. Then from there, we took it a step further. We wanted to add on the handyman piece. So we wanted it to be where we, replace a door or fix a sink or a ceiling fan or just kind of any honey-do list that somebody at their home wants done with a carpenter or painting even. But as we try to do, sinks and faucets and ceiling fans, what we found out was, well, you got to have a master plumber, a master electrician. So we kind of rolled into plumbing and electrical. And then from there, we said, well, might as well jump into air conditioning. So jumped into air conditioning full force. And then kind of at that point, we just listened to what our customers said of what services did we offer. So from there, we added window washing, power washing, appliance repair is another one that we've added on. Pool repair and cleaning is another. We had dabbled in security for a little bit and just recently got out of that. But we kind of just look at what all can we do for one customer to provide them one reputable name and company with consistent experience across different services, but yet they're all going to be the same of right guy, right person, very friendly, great service, very satisfied customer.
Yeah, I mean, you're showing up at people's houses, and obviously those guys want a couple things. They want a great service for their money, right? And so, but I'm thinking if I've got somebody coming to my house, the other thing I'm also looking at is I like to see same faces, reputable people who I don't have to worry about, man, did this guy just show up off a corner in Bryan somewhere? So, I mean, just kind of keep it real. I mean, I really think that for a lot of folks that open their home to service contractors doing different types of things in the community, they definitely want to feel like they're protected, that they're safe in that process, and that, I'll give you an example, man. So I live in a newer neighborhood, and this drives me absolutely crazy, but I live in a newer neighborhood, and there's a guy. If you listen to this podcast, I don't know your name, and I'm not fronting you out here, but this guy rolls around on like a hoverboard and is like knocking on doors and just going door to door. And hey, man, I get it. You got to grow your business, right? But then we're also, and probably who I'm talking about, obviously, because I'm sure these names are like dime a dozens to you. But a lot of those places are out of town. Mm-hmm. They're coming in. They're just trying to extend their territory or whatever. They don't have a local presence. Like, I can't find an office for them here, right? Like they're just contracting these guys to come into the community. They're going door to door, knocking on people's houses, trying to sell them. Most of the stuff they're trying to sell them is pest control stuff, and just get them on a service plan. And then, you can read enough of the reviews to know these guys come in, they get you to sign, and then they disappear, or the service isn't what you thought it was.
And we're aware of those. We're aware of even local. We just know for a fact, and we stress this to every ABC employee, there's always going to be somebody trying to take our customers from us pretty much. And that's why we always, every service at every house for every customer, we have to be on our A game. We have to provide top level service that we promise them, because if we don't, someone can come in there and take that customer from us.
Absolutely.
And that's just detrimental, especially when we get to that point where we're adding multiple services to a customer. Losing that one customer where we do their mowing, their pest control, and handyman, and they're recommending to us. If we lose that one customer, that's detrimental to us.
Sure.
And that's why we put such a high premium on our customers, and we want to keep them.
Well, your reputation becomes, just super critical. Let's look at this year alone. So COVID-19, all of a sudden everything's shut down. Yeah. People aren't working. Money's not coming in somewhere. People are now looking, where can they cut corners? At the same point, there's some services that you guys are offering, like, hey, man, you want the rats to come back or whatever, you're more than welcome to cut the service. But, the other part of that is you want to create a business that somebody says, this is not something I'm willing to cut. This is not something that's an optional program for us in our household. This is something we have to have. So I'm glad you brought that up, because again, you're local here to everybody that knows you, knows Bo, but really you're statewide in most cases here. So, I just looked up local because, again, I want our folks that are listening on the podcast to understand what they're getting into when you're signing up with ABC Home and Commercial. So you guys are 5 out of 5 on Facebook page as far as reviews. You guys are A+ with the Better Business Bureau. And you guys are a 4.9 on Google review. I told you I did my homework before we sat down here. So again, that's a testament to your business, and that's strictly here. We're not even stretching that out to the state. So if you're in my backyard and I'm going to look at it, and one of the things I talked about yesterday, the person on the podcast, was I talked about, I'm going to do my research before I call a company. Right. I'm probably not going with a company with the guy that rolls up on his scooter or whatever to try and sign me up. I really want to see and hear other people's input and reviews. Right. And I'll dig deep enough to make sure that it's not, I got 48 people who work for me, and let's get all 48 of them to go on Facebook and put a review on. You know, I mean, so.
And with those reviews, I mean, we read those every single week that they come in. Because I want to share it with the guys. I want you guys to know these are words from our customers that they say about us. And our customers are our life and blood. And so, yeah, we're very prideful of those things. But, the social media, it keeps you on your toes every single time.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, you know, I've been in the retail / service business for 30 years, you know, so 30 years ago, man, if you wanted to complain about something, you were doing it at dinner at somebody's house or at a family gathering, or, you know, you run across a friend or whatever. Today it's at your fingertips. You know, you suck. Somebody's going to know about it before you get done. You know, I mean, they're already putting it on their Twitter and on their Facebook and everything else, and they're tagging 5,000 people. So, I mean, you really got to be good at what you do. And yeah, I guess the way I describe it is you're developing and creating raving fans.
Exactly.
Right. So, I mean, those guys are the ones that are going to be, they're like your calling card. You know, so, hey, if you want to call one of my customers, here's the list. You know, feel free to call any of them and ask them how we're doing.
Exactly. And we tell all the guys, I say, you know, when you finish with that service, when you are doing that pest control service there, we're going to send a request for a survey to those customers. So again, we have to continually to stress value to our customers when they do get that survey, to post on Google or Facebook, which is the truest testament of what our customers feel about us. It's a true pulse, to tell the guys, hey, we got to deliver every single time. And I've got a great team, and they all know that, and they do great jobs. And what I tell them is, you know, our logo and the colors and the trucks we drive, that's all fine and dandy, but it's the service that each person provides. Every doorstep, every house, that's what's going to grow the business.
Yeah. I mean, you can look crisp and sharp and everything else and still give poor service. I mean, ultimately, you know, people look at what am I getting for the dollar that I'm putting down. So, you know, so for you guys, I mean, you know, 2020 Best of Brazos, you guys were voted best landscaping. That actually caught me off guard, to be real honest with you. I mean, I expected to see the pest control part, but the lawn service actually was a surprise. And so, was it a surprise for you? I mean,
you know, we always get worried during the Best of the Brazos, and it's kind of the most stressed out part, because you just want to know.
Sure.
You know, I believe we're the best. I feel like we're the best, but still, anytime it comes down to a vote or anything like that amongst the community, it's yeah, we're not surprised. We've won best landscaping. You know, I always expect best pest control, but it's the best landscaping part. That's probably where we have a whole bunch of competition in town.
Sure.
And it's just the one that you worry about of, you know, they know we do, the community knows we do pest control, but do they know we really do lawn? Or would they consider us to be best of the Brazos in lawn? But yeah, no, I'm extremely proud that we won it. But yeah, it's always, you know, wait and see game when it comes to the lawn.
Yeah, you know, those kind of accolades and everything else, man, those are team accolades. I mean, it's never going to be a one person reward to anything that happens within the community. And I know that's kind of that best opportunity for your local neighbors, your local, you know, business people, everything else. Everybody kind of gets in there and they do their little vote, and then it comes out and you get your plaque and you put all that stuff up. And I mean, there's businesses in town, tons of them, that can, you know, show you an entire wall of them that they've had them. So I'm sure that's you guys.
We
know,
have them on the wall.
I was going to say, man, I mean, you get them not to put them in a closet. You get them to kind of show, again, you show the history of what your service is to the community. So
exactly.
So we talked about services that you guys offer, and so I want to go back a little bit and talk about COVID, since this is probably an unusual year. How many years have you been in the business?
So I graduated from A&M in 2014 and immediately jumped into the business. And so I was in Austin for about 2 years doing training. And then me and my wife, we've been here in College Station since about 2017. Yeah.
So you've had a look at what regular years look like, building into that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so tell me this year, I mean, I know you guys are classified by the city of College, or whoever is classifying this stuff these days, as essential business, obviously. So tell me, did your business struggle? Was there a downtrend on that?
Yeah, so in March, we were panicking. We were worried. We knew we were deemed essential, but that's the thing, was in March, it was just an unknown. We didn't know what to expect. You know, we thought we were going to be down. We thought, you know, people would be cutting their finances. And we thought, you know, pest control would be the first, or lawn would be the first thing that people cut. But no, surprisingly, in March, it's the beginning of the season for us. The weather changes, grass is growing, people want to do some landscaping, trees need to be trimmed, the pest pressure's out there. So we just consistently kept growing during COVID-19. Now, operations and everything changed drastically. How we interact with our customers, how our employees interact with each other, how we have meetings, everything, our operations was just thrown out the window pretty much.
Yeah.
The good thing is we've been investing in technology over the past 10 years to where it was almost like, thank God we did all that, so we were able to move all of our office staff to work from home and answer all their phone calls there. And then all of our guys, we've been on iPhones for a couple of years now. And so we were able to start everybody from home. We've eliminated paperwork, especially with our customers. We're finished with the service. You're going to get an emailed document. So we were kind of ready for it. We didn't expect this to come. I don't think anybody did.
Sure.
But we were ready for it, operation side. But yeah, it was a huge change and adjustment for us.
Yeah, I was curious about that question because I'm thinking, again, we talked about people cutting expenses and doing all that other kind of stuff and creating the service that people don't want to cut. But then also I'm going, now everybody's at home.
Yeah.
So now they got a little bit better look at their place.
Yeah.
And
everybody's working from home and people that don't have pest control are noticing, what are these ants on the windowsill? There's roaches here. I think I hear scratching in the attic.
There you go.
Wow, I really, don't want to do my yard. So will you guys take care of it? People, I think they put a higher premium on their home because they're spending, instead of just evenings and mornings, they're spending 24/7 there because there's nothing else to go do. So yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to improve their home. Handyman, we had rolled that out in December. And so we picked up pretty big in handyman if people wanted to do projects at their house. So yeah, we stayed very busy during all this. But yeah, every month we're like, we don't know what could happen next month.
Yeah. So we talk about the evolution of business, and for a lot of businesses here, especially this year, they had to go and do things, or they were in the process of doing things that they had to either ramp up and escalate, or they had to turn around really quickly and say, okay, we're not doing this anymore. We're going this direction, and we're going to do that. So as they kind of move through the process and change their deals, when we were coming in here to sit down and before we started recording, I'd kind of asked you, in my book, I kind of looked at you guys as kind of one of those evolution pieces before we even got to COVID. Yeah. So you guys were, like I said, starting out in a couple of avenues of service. And then, the first thing that kind of hit me is the Christmas lights deal, so you guys got into hanging Christmas lights for folks. And I thought, well, that's pretty smart because granted the bugs and all that other stuff, they don't ever go away, but it's an opportunity to say, okay, this niche for this part of the year is another thing to bring this in. So you just kind of hit on that. And so I think that was one of those things when I was looking and researching some of the companies that we're going to be interviewing is you guys were almost out in front of it before it even happened. So I think it probably helped you once everything came around.
Exactly. I mean, for ABC, the biggest thing we want is keep all of our employees productive. So yeah, when that mowing season changes, when you're just not needing to mow a yard as frequently as you do in December, as you do in the middle of July, how can we keep our employees busy rather than, the last thing we want to do is lay somebody off or send somebody home. So, hey, here's this other service of Christmas lights that, keeps us swamped for 2.5 months, and we can just keep employees busy, add another service to the customers. And yeah, it's great. And it's truly, that's one of probably the most fun service that we offer is Christmas lights.
Yeah. And I mean, it's instant reward for your customer, right? Exactly. Like as soon as you guys are gone and it's dark, I'm going to get to see exactly what you guys did. So I think that, we were talking about the pest control thing and kind of these fly-by-night businesses that are kind of running around town, or maybe they're just in the area for the week or the month and they're trying to hit people up and then they're trying to kind of move back through that. Same deal with Christmas lights. I mean, from businesses that are trying to get in and get a part of that, just like you said earlier, there's always people trying to take your customers.
Exactly.
So from people that are getting in there and trying to do it on the side, maybe it's a father-son deal, maybe it's I'm going to stick this sign in the ground at these corners and hopefully somebody calls me. Yeah, and I mean, while it's great money, there's some downsides to that. And so I want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk on that because I know that people look at Christmas lights as a necessity, but also with the deal of like, do I really want to do this? Like, is this really what I want to be doing?
Do I want to spend a full Saturday putting up my own Christmas lights and the risk and being on a ladder, being on a roof?
Yeah, because listen, I'm going to be the first one to go on record and say, man, that I've had some 2-story houses that never made it to the second story.
Yeah,
and that we cut that sucker right across the garage. I mean, that's just kind of how it went. So. But if you're in the market and you're paying for this stuff, I think one of the things that you need to realize as a part of the expense for hanging Christmas lights is, some people initially look at that and they go, man, that's a lot of money to hang Christmas lights, right? But there's value that's offered in not only on the front side, but on the back side of that as well, too. So what I want to give you an opportunity to talk about is talk about why would someone go with ABC as opposed to turning back around and going with, a mom and pop or a son father combination to put this stuff up. What's the liabilities? Right. What's the deal that kind of goes along?
Liability is the biggest thing. I mean, what if you just have Chuck in a truck or the kid next door come do your lights, and what happens if they fall off your roof?
Yeah,
I mean that's on you as a homeowner.
Yeah,
you go with ABC, we assume all that liability, we assume the risk. The other thing is I always like to say, well, what about next year? What about when those college kids graduate? What if they decide next year they want to go home? Or what if the neighborhood kid doesn't want to do it next year? I always tell customers, when you first sign up with ABC for Christmas lights, you can start small and you can continue to add on every year, because that's the thing. We're going to be back next year.
Right.
We're not going anywhere. We're always going to be here in Bryan College Station. So, yeah, it's that reliability of having us come back next year. And also your warranty is with us as well. If your lights go out, between now and next year, and you've been storing them in your attic, and your warranty is with us, you're good. So again, it's just that long-term relationship with Christmas lights is just gold, and you won't find that with a Chuck in a truck or a college kid. I mean, it'll be nice for this year. If you want to assume that kind of risk and, just to save a couple bucks, that's kind of on the homeowner. But a lot of times when it comes to your home and liability and your house, it's just better to just go with a reputable, reliable company.
Sure. Somebody that's been doing it, somebody that's familiar with it. I'm sure you guys have hung it on everything.
Yes.
So, I mean, from a 1-story up, so.
And we go into safety, if there's a roof that's too high, or we take safety extremely serious. We just did fall safety at our house last week. We've got guys in harnesses and make sure to prevent that whole fall safety is a big thing for us. Because the last thing that I want is for an ABC employee to fall off a roof. I don't want to hurt them. Yeah. I don't want to scare a homeowner. So we try to go the extra measure of making sure everyone's taken care of.
Yeah, and again, to your point earlier, if I pick somebody off of a corner somewhere that's just dropping in signs and trying to do it as a fly-by-night Chuck in a truck, as you described, it's a very accurate description. I think at the same point that is the homeowner asking the right questions? Right. Before that guy comes and says, yeah, I'll do it at half the price that ABC is going to do it at, are they asking the right questions? That dude falls off your house, then you're going to wish that you'd gone with an ABC to hang your lights.
Exactly.
And I mean, that one trip to an emergency room delivering that guy there that's just fallen off your house who told you that he was insured, then magically all of a sudden, I don't know where that insurance is at, and now all of a sudden your homeowner's insurance is covering it. You're going to wish that you'd done those things.
I mean, you just can't buy experience.
No. So, I mean, I look at smart business as the reason why, as Bryan College Station, as we continue to recover from COVID-19 and all this mess that we've gotten into this year, everybody kind of plays a role in that. We were discussing if there was a place you'd want to live, Bryan College Station is almost like its own little bubble. And what's really great about this community is it's really is. I mean, it's people taking care of people.
Oh, it's unique by far.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether they, for us as a business, I mean, it was slow coming back up. April is pretty much bottom, I think, for probably most of the businesses in town. And there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of, what are we going to do here? I heard you earlier talking about that you guys had to change your operations piece, so, and just to be clear, everybody that's listening on here, I mean, we're not talking about an operations piece for Bryan College Station. I mean, it's across the entire company.
Yeah.
And you guys employ somewhere like 800 plus people.
About 850 employees.
Yeah. So, I mean, this isn't something that, you prepare for.
No.
It's not something you plan for. And also at the same point, though, when you have pre-planned for it, then it really does help make the jump. And I noticed that you guys do things. Do y'all do like virtual quotes and things like that?
We can. Yeah, we've set it up to where if you want to buy online, you can. If you want to buy over the phone, you can. If you want to buy in person, of course, we'll do that. We'll take all our measures to protect us and you. But yeah, we pretty much wanted to make it as easy as possible, whatever, I don't want to say the comfort level, but yeah, whatever a customer is willing, if they just want to just buy from their computer, that's fine. We'll be here. We'll verify it. We'll make sure it's all taken care of. If you want to buy on the phone, that's there. Or if you want to have someone come here and take a look at everything and can tell you about ABC and what you're buying, we'll do that as well.
Yeah. I mean, there's a different level of comfort with almost every single person that seems to walks in from I'm wearing a mask and a shield and a hazmat suit and I'm spraying everything down to the guys that are just like, hey, whatever, man, just do what you got to do. So, to offer that level of whatever fits that person's comfortability, to still be able to promote your product, still be able to go out there and take care of them with whatever their feeling is in that particular situation. That's a great opportunity for you guys to, again, to not just say, okay, well, hopefully all these people that we've signed up for continue to come back to us and continue to extend their services with us. But just like anybody else, I mean, you're not in the business to just let's get here and maintain. I mean, it's always a growth aspect.
We've always said at ABC, we have never arrived. No matter what my dad says, I've been in business for 35 plus years. He goes, we have never arrived.
Yeah, that's a great statement. I mean, you build the raving customers by what you put in and day out. And listen, this is one of those jobs, man, that it's thankless on the backside. Yeah. Like you spray somebody's house, it's not like somebody says, oh, thank you so much. I mean, it's just,
the biggest compliment from a customer is, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. What'd you see this month? I didn't see anything this month. Okay, well, we did our job, so let's continue doing that. So, I think that for a lot of folks, that opportunity to interact with a business that's been around forever is first and foremost probably their most stable foundation of where they're going to plant their trust, right? Exactly. So if they get into a business they know has been doing this for 50 plus years, I mean, it's not like you're just trying to figure this out. I mean, it's pieces of the business where you've seen the good, bad, the ugly.
Right.
You constantly try and get the good great.
Right.
And those customers are really kind of the needle for you.
Oh, yeah. No, we have definitely, we can admit, we've failed a lot of times. But the good thing is we've learned from a lot of that. And that's why, the service we're doing today that the experienced customer is going to get is going to be a whole lot different than it was 3 years ago. And 2 years from now, it's going to be different as well. And it's all about just enhancing it for your customers.
Yeah. Well, and the flexibility, I heard you say earlier that you'd gotten into the alarm system piece, but then you kind of went, this is probably for the other guys.
Right.
And that's okay, because I think, honestly, there's such a thing as spreading yourself too thin.
Right.
And then there's also the thing of, look, we can add more and still do great.
Right.
And still provide the same service that we've always expected.
And it all ties back to, our promise with our customers. We're going to provide specialists for what we do. And if we're going to do it for a customer, we're going to make sure we do it right. And, we've done irrigation installations before. We just flat out failed. Security was a big failure. We can admit that to a customer.
Sure.
But everything else, we were continually just trying to provide the best service we can for our customer.
Yeah.
It comes from failures a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you can't learn from them, I would challenge a business to say that from start to finish, they've done it great the whole way through. I mean, we have our own line of failures that we could talk about as well too. I mean, it's the opportunity basically to you throw some stuff at the wall and see what sticks, but also at that same point of knowing and being smart enough to go, this isn't our niche, So that says a lot about you guys, that it's like, test the waters. Nope. Let's move on. So, and I'm sure that's probably the same thing when you start talking about Christmas lights.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many of my friends hang Christmas lights every year, and pay people to come and hang their Christmas lights and everything else. But again, some of this stuff is like, it's not a service till you need it to be a service.
Exactly.
Or until somebody's offering it.
And a lot of customers, they'll tell us, they go, I never would have thought I'd hire somebody for Christmas lights.
Sure.
They just say the best feeling is when that husband gets home from work, it's dark outside and the lights are on the house, he didn't have to lift a finger, and it looks great. It's professionally cut, custom to the house, and it's just instant gratification, satisfaction. Right
Yep,
there.
you guys take it down, you store it away,
Yep.
and then you give them the opportunity to do it again next year.
Exactly, and you can add on even more lights next year.
Yeah.
Like, it can be just an evolving project.
Yeah, so I think that's awesome that you guys kind of find those niches in that. The handyman thing,
Yeah.
again, that's prior to us coming on talking about the things that you guys are doing that I wasn't even aware of. I mean, man, I can't tell you how many times I've needed somebody else other than me to do something.
Exactly.
Because I definitely want to make sure it gets done right the first time. So for you guys that are out there in Bryan College Station, I mean, these services have been around for a long time. They continue to add services. It's definitely, we love doing business with you guys. We love the opportunity to be able to provide you guys with things that show your reputation in the community, that show your professionalism in the community. So for us, y'all are easy. I mean, we love it when we have easy customers, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's the partnership created by two partners.
Right.
And so again, for us in this podcast, it's getting you out in front of customers, talking about your services so that people know that there are businesses in our community that they can trust.
Right.
That as you continue to move forward with whatever it is, maybe you're going to build a home, maybe you're relocating, maybe this is your first year in a brand new home, maybe you have, that new family or the baby or whatever, that, Christmas lights now becomes a lot bigger deal.
Oh, yes.
I was in Walmart for 20 years, man, and Christmas lights were not a priority for me when you're in retail. But then you have a daughter, I have a 9-year-old, and you better have some Christmas lights.
Priorities of the lifetime.
Yeah.
It all changes with children.
Yeah, so, I mean, it goes along to the business model here. And so, I mean, Bo, you guys have done an excellent job here in town of just continuing to build that reputation. I know people, when they talk about you, they can talk about you with honesty, integrity, and the opportunity that if you guys are a part of that equation, if they call you guys out, that you're going to give them the best service for the money.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what people need to look at in these particular situations. Sometimes people will see a quote, go, I can get somebody to do it cheaper. Well, I can get anybody. I can go somewhere and get somebody to screen print a shirt for next to nothing.
We'll always tell customers we are not the cheapest in town.
Absolutely. But you get what you pay for.
Exactly. What we will deliver is value.
Yeah.
And with the price comes the expectations, and for us, it's not just about killing the bugs or mowing the yards. It's about the people.
Yeah.
And, and that's the best thing when you hear from a customer. If you look at a lot of our compliments on Google and Facebook, nobody really even talks about how good we are at killing bugs. Everyone just talks about David was so nice.
Yeah.
Lizzie was so professional. They were on time, smiled, very friendly. It's all the things that I just tell you. That's a secret to customer service.
Oh, yeah.
Positive attitude and just being nice.
Well, let me tell you, man, those faces that are at the front of your business make all the difference in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, because a single individual can represent your company on the high side or even on the low side. So putting the right people around you, picking the right team, training those folks, and then getting them to be a part of it. The one thing I think that's probably of value to say here is these folks that do a great job for you probably feel like it's more than just working for ABC, that they're working for a family.
It feels like a family, and we've got a great team. I'm very proud of them. And even when we've been separated virtually with everybody kind of starting from home, it still has that sense of family through all this. And everyone stayed with us, and our tenure at ABC amongst the employees is something I'm really proud of. We got multiple people in this office that have been with us for 20 plus years, a lot of 10 plus years. And now we're at that point where, there's a whole bunch that are creeping up to the 5 and 7 year range, which is something that I'm very proud of.
Sure.
And those are guys that we don't want them to leave. So we want to keep them happy. And, we say happy employees leads to happy customers, which leads
absolutely.
to growth. So that's kind of where we start at it. We want to pay them well. We want to provide good benefits, make life as great for them at ABC to where they want to make a career here.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to work for somebody that it's not a job, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that they get up. I had an old saying that used to be like, you'll hear people all the time saying, I quit my job today, but you'll never hear people say, I quit my career today.
Yeah.
So you want to build people who have a career with your business, and also at that same point have the same values and represent the same things that your family's represented for multiple generations. And that is all attributed to what, your grandfather, your father, and now you are doing in the company to continue to push that forward. So, kudos to you and to your family. And we wish you guys nothing but luck. We prayed that our partners have continued success in uncertain times, obviously, and they're going to get a lot more uncertain based on last night's thing that I saw. So we're going to see kind of how everything washes out this deal. But for us, we pray that our guys continue to have just the garnered success of coming back into a community that will rally around folks that need it. And I think that's really the one blessing about being in Bryan College Station area and being a part of a community that, much like your business, feels like family. I mean, you can go anywhere at any time, see people that have conversations with them, and you don't have to tuck a tail because you're not running a business that's shady under the table. Exactly. You're running a reputable business that people see you and they go, listen, there's a reason why this thing's been around for this long.
It's very unique with this area of Bryan College Station. Even after it's been growing for all these years, you still have that sense of small town community feel, but it's got the energy of a growing city, which is, you can't emulate that in another place.
Yeah. No, I mean, my wife and I have said we've lived all over Texas and we came back here. This is our second time back here, and we don't intend on leaving. It's just a great place to raise a family. It's a great place to run a business, and even in uncertain times, man, knowing that you live in a community where we saw business leaders in our community really bearing their soul on social media, just like, listen, man, like, I need people to come to my business. And then the next thing you know, man, they're out of food, or
the outpour of support is just, it's people taking care of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, and then I think the other part, and it was a valuable point made yesterday, was if you pour back into the community, that people come to your doorstep, hey, can you guys support this? Can you can you help us with this? That will in turn work its way back around the other direction when you need it. And so
people notice when a company is doing good work in the community.
Absolutely. And again, it just stretches. It has its name all the way over it. It has the leader's name all over it. It has people behind it that are pushing it. So So that's just another mark for you guys, because your name's on a lot of stuff. I mean, we see you guys everywhere. We see you guys promoting things from school stuff down to nonprofits. And again, we're just so appreciative to have you in the community and have you as a business leader here in the community. I'm grateful that you guys have come out the other side, even though you were deemed essential and everything else. I think just the opportunity of having to change your business model is scary. And it's definitely something that, as you move forward as a leader through your business, that you want to do the right things, not just for your business, but for the people who are following behind you and putting their trust in you that you're going to make the right decision.
Exactly. And it's just, we just take it one day at a time,
That's it, much. Man. That's all you can do. I mean, we, like you said, man, sometimes we've got lots of little horror stories about how we screw things up. And so if you're out there, if you're listening to this, I mean, if you're running a business in town, just know that this community will get behind you. But a lot of the times, man, we just have to ask. Sometimes you just have to ask for help. And I mean, there's been a lot of outpouring in this community that I'm just so proud to be a part of. And I know that we're grateful to have you in it as a part of that community as well, too, and continue to do great work. Continue to provide the great service. I know you guys are going to continue to grow. That's not going to be a problem here.
More services will come to Bryan College Station.
Man, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting until you guys start serving pizza or something. I'm going to get my pest control and my pizza delivered at the same time or whatever. But yeah, no, we wish you future luck and great growth in your business. And again, we're just so grateful you came in today and graced us with your presence today. Appreciate having you on the podcast. So for you guys that are out there, again, Bo Jenkins is your man, ABC Home and Commercial Services. If you guys are needing, I should almost say what you don't need, because I think we'll cover more stuff that way. But if you guys are needing pest services, handyman, lawn service, we didn't even talk about power washing, window washing. I mean, stuff, if you got something around your house that needs done, y'all need to reach back to Bo and his team. And they're going to get you guys hooked up. I'm sure they've got someone somewhere, and you may ask for something that might be the next service that they're going to pick up anyway.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
If these guys are out there asking, so if there's an ask, there's going to be a need somewhere.
Yeah, I think last week we got asked to do hog trappings in the area. That was the first one for us here.
Yeah, there's a lot of hogs in Texas. There are. Especially Austin, that area up in there. So, But we're grateful for having you. We appreciate having you as a business partner as well too. So thank you for everything you guys
Happy to
are
be
doing.
here. Love you guys at M&M. Cody always takes good care of us.
Shout out to Cody Smith.
Shout out to Cody Smith, and you guys get us looking good, which images everything.
We appreciate it, man. Hey, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, guys, have a great day. Bo, thanks for coming in. Your wife, thank you for coming in and joining us as well too. We'll go ahead and give her a shout out here at the end.
Shout out Molly Jenkins.
Molly Jenkins. All right, guys, we look forward to talking to y'all in the future. Bo, have a great day.
Thanks, you too.